welcome to the Special Moves podcast. My name's Mike Williams. These guys are Jake Klosky and Liam McKelvey. This is episode 139, I think. Am I right?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter.
Business as usual on a special.
Yeah.
We haven't got any emails this week, so we're going to be skipping the mail. If you've got any messages to send us, it's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Luckily, we got tons of stuff to talk about, including some big new games that we've played. You guys have played Deathloop.
Hell yeah, which we need to... We're not legally, but I think morally obligated to say the codes were provided to us by Bethesda. I think that's actually part of the agreement, so thank you. Yeah.
So there you go. A couple of biased reviews coming up then.
Yeah.
We've got the PlayStation Showcase thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Which there was a lot of like announcements and stuff, some pretty exciting news. But you know, some stuff. Okay, so Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic remake. What is it? It's a
remake. Yeah.
That's exciting. But I've been kind of saying this for a couple of years, to the point where some things are such no-brainers in video games now that
they get no credit.
I'm sort of not excited because of course it's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, yep.
Okay.
I've been looking forward to this for like 4 years, but not in like a I can't wait kind of way. In like it's inevitable kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I ordered the steak 45 minutes ago.
Well, I'm a vegetarian, but yeah, I get it. I ordered the corn.
the mushroom steak or whatever.
Falafel. I can't wait.
That's exactly it. Yeah. In fact, I think vegetarians in most restaurants end up having to wait a bit longer anyway as well. So very relatable concept
for something that we couldn't choose. So there's lots to get through this week. Boys, where do you want to start? It's up to you, really. I mean, you guys have played the games, and we all watched the PlayStation thing, though. Yeah.
Well, we've all been really busy, but I feel like I've really done well this week. I really did my best for the podcast. I played Call of Duty and Deathloop and Tales of Arise. That's like an achievement, and I'm moving house. In case the people who are listening the people who are listening can't see, but the people watching might notice that I'm calling in this time from the set of the new Insidious movie, a haunted attic full of boxes. But it's because I'm moving home, so next week I'm not here. So I should have been packing, but what I instead did was I'll talk about one that I know that Liam hasn't played, just so then we can roll through it. I played Call of Duty Vanguard. I don't need to disclose I got a key for that, I don't think, but I didn't.
So this was what, some kind of beta or something?
Yeah, I think it was for the people that pre-ordered the £100 edition and had the PS5 or, high flying, cream of the crop Illuminati content creators, So a friend of mine's one of them, not me, and they asked for 2 codes so I could play it with them. And it was shit. I really did not like Call of Duty Vanguard. And I don't know what it is. Like, I was really into Battlefield 5 a bit earlier on, last couple of months. And Call of Duty, like the last time we played, I think it was a good memory. I think it was a good time. We played Call of Duty Modern Warfare for a little bit, I think. And then we played a bit of Warzone, we being us, But I think that... my memories of Call of Duty have kind of have been falling a lot more positively lately because of like they did Warzone and whatnot. And then I played Vanguard, and unfortunately it brought it all right down to like, oof. So the last card, I can't remember what it was called, Black Ops Cold War.
Yeah.
It was like a PlayStation 5 launch title, and I got that on like launch or whatever. Yeah. And it had the cool thing with the DualSense. It was actually the very first game that I played that wasn't the little Astrobot that had the DualSense, and I liked it, and I thought it was cool.
It sort of gets a pass because it's a launch game. You don't, I think it probably got more of a, I kind of enjoyed it, but just because of the, as a visual showcase. And as you
right,
said,
exactly. It was super crisp, and the story's pretty light on its feet. Like you just globe trotting here, there, and everywhere. Like stopping Russia, setting off bombs or whatever the fuck you're doing.
Probably.
Yeah, this one though was just a multiplayer, so there's no single player. There was no, from what I can't recall any DualSense support at all on it. Maybe there was, but I'm become numb to it. But I don't remember there being any. And it was just a bit of a horrendous experience. It was like playing World at War, but like souped up. Like it will like. Can you remember playing like Modern Warfare and then going into World at War, and then you had like bouncing Bettys and Alsatians as opposed to AC 130s. Well, this manages to do everything at once. Like you get Predator missiles in World War II. Like I'm sure they can try and explain that, but it just seems a bit too fast paced for World War II. And I mean, maybe it's because I come from the back of like Battlefield, which is obviously squad based, slow paced. This was literally, paint by numbers card, little arcadey maps. There's a big giant, beached ship that you can run through, and you're playing it, and it's just you and fucking, Poundland and like, ballsy 79. Running around the map. Of course, it's PlayStation 5, so everybody had their mics on by default on their controllers, so you could hear a lot of coughing and nasal breathing and swearing when people were getting shot. And it was just a horrible time. It was very, very twitchy and fast paced for a World War II thing. I felt like the guns just didn't really seem at all I don't know, because I'm not really a gun guy, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I didn't feel any weight of the guns, and I thought surely that's the trade-off when you're doing a World War II shooter. The guns are slower, so we need to make them feel really impactful, or make it feel like every shot matters. Well, it felt like it was super fast gameplay, and I was UAV Predator missile. And it just really didn't feel right that it was in World War II, basically, or whatever the hell time zone it is. Maybe it's not in World War II. It might even be World War I for all I fucking know. All I know is I don't think Predator missiles were a thing.
Yeah.
But
I think it's meant to be alt history type thing, from what I gather. But
it wasn't interesting enough for me to even realize that, though. It wasn't I don't know, there was no one with a cybernetic eye patch or something. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it wasn't Wolfenstein
that's what I mean. Yeah, so
you want an Alsatian with a machine gun on the back.
Yeah, here we go.
To understand that it's a...
This is what I mean. Let me read the little tagline from our website. The award-winning Call of Duty series returns with Call of Duty Vanguard, in which players will experience influential battles of World War II. Honestly, this is the worst way to experience, well, maybe not the worst way to experience World War II, but certainly in a video game.
Being there, actually that's in the top three, isn't it?
Yeah. But I just really didn't have a good time. But what I will say is that I played it over the weekend, and it was the same weekend that I think might go down in history for me over time as going, oof. Tale of Arise and Deathloop came out on the same weekend. Damn. Yeah. So I guess we'll talk about them in a bit more detail in a bit. But yeah, Call of Duty overall, it's the biggest one in a while. The last one had a pass because it was next gen. The one before had a pass because it came with a big chunky, completely free to play battle royale and was in Modern Warfare setting. And so I guess the one before that, Black Ops 4 with the multiplayer only.
Yeah,
that was the one with its first battle royale, but it's probably there, just below that in terms of quality. So yeah, not a big fan, and I'm so glad I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so Liam, Jake's mentioned a couple of games there. Which one?
I mean, I'll start with Tales of Arise because that's the one I've actually played the most of. Played about 10 hours. It is the newest Tales of game, which is Bandai Namco's Final Fantasy. Every Japanese publisher has their own long-running RPG franchise. Tales of is Bandai Namco's. And it's a bit of a soft reboot of the series, which has been going since the SNES days. Don't even know what numbered one this is. It's got to be in the 20s, probably, because it seems like they pump them out every year sometimes. But yeah, so this one is... got a lot of new features to it. So they've completely redone the battle system from the ground up. It's a lot more freeform, this one, compared to the older Tales games, which always sort of use the same battle system in a slightly different iteration. This one is a lot more free-flowing, a lot more combo-based than normal. You're chaining attacks together. A lot of... I would say it's quite difficult for a JRPG, to be fair. The last few JRPGs I've played have been very, very easy, whereas normal mobs in Tales of Arise can straight up steamroll you if you're not prepared.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a challenging RPG again. Other than that, I'm trying to think, really. It's pretty anime. It's very anime, actually. You play as...
Is this the one that you said, where last week, was it last week I said, I might have a look at this, and you said, Mike, don't, you'll hate it.
Yeah, this is the same one. Yep, this is the exact same one.
All right.
Plot-wise, it's nothing special. You play as a guy called Alphen, who meets up with a mysterious girl called Shion, and, there's obviously something going on. Two very important people in this world, and it's a whole world that is... It's actually quite a lot of dark themes for a JRPG.
I would say that, yeah.
They go into slavery, racism... It starts with a bit of slavery, doesn't it? It starts with you are a slave, like. It really does, yeah. And the whole setup of the game is you are on a planet called Dana, can't remember how you pronounce it. I think it's Dana.
Dana, yeah.
Yeah, and then 3 centuries ago they were conquered by a civilization from another planet called Rena, and they've basically enslaved this planet for 300 years. And so you team up with a Renan who is on the run from the other Renans to kill all the 5 lords of the realms to free the planet from oppression, basically. The Chronicles of Renan, yeah. So that's the basic story setup of the game anyway, if you're even interested. I don't know, but there you go. There it is. So really, I am having a good time with it so far. The last few Tales games I've bounced off pretty hard. This one has actually managed to hold my attention for quite a while. I'm thinking about 10 hours into it. The voice cast has been pretty good. I'm playing it with the English dub, and they are pretty good so far. I like all the characters I've met. I think I've got half of the party members recruited at this point in the game. Because it's weird. I still feel like I'm early into the game, but I'm already in the 3rd realm. So I'm not sure how far into the game I am. But I feel like I've seen a decent amount of it. The level up system is pretty standard JRPG. You just level up, you get skill points, you buy new skills. A lot of the time, it's just select your skills. You can pick elemental buffs, stat buffs, or debuffs, and then the rest are just abilities you map to your face buttons, because it is action combat.
Yeah.
It's not turn-based. There is, like I said before, a big focus on chaining combos together, staggering enemies, juggling them in the air, and then using basically limit breaks, but they're called boost moves to finish them off. I can't think what else to say about it. Oh, that's it. It's visually, it is a very good looking game. I think it runs on Unreal Engine 4, and they are taking advantage of that big time. Yeah. And the great thing...
Yeah.
Jake, you played it a little bit as well, haven't you?
I have, yeah. Which for JRPG, I dabble. I'm no Liam, but the demo was available, and I thought I'd have a go, and then I got a code as well. So, I wasn't planning on playing it. I've been deep in Deathloop, right? But my daughter, she's way into anime, and she was like, "What's that game?" And I was like, "I don't know. Should we have a look?" And I knew it was going to be loads of anime exposition. So when it started off with a bit of slavery, I was like, "For fuck's sake, why couldn't it have been Dragon Quest? I'm getting water for my village, and then some bandits burn it down." But no, it was 300 years of slavery, and we played it. She sat and watched me for it was a 5-hour session. I feel like it was it was really good though. Yeah, she was getting involved and explaining it, and the combat was cool, and we were listening to every bit of conversation, side questy dialogue, and I really like it. I like the combat. I thought that was pretty engaging, because the thing about JRPGs sometimes, especially the old ones, where random encounter and then you've got to just sit and wait and keep smashing attack. But no, it's decent. And the story is pretty compelling from the get go. You've got this whole the grand scheme of things is slavery, but then you've got this basically you're a slave who can't feel pain. Yeah, you can't feel pain. You've got straight up leprosy, and then there's this Renan just appears in your camp, but she harms anyone that touches her. If you touch her, you get electrocuted. But obviously, because you're you don't feel pain, you can touch her and it doesn't hurt you. So wow, it must be fate intertwining you two. So yeah, it's between them two, that's the big meat of the story. That's where it gets the interpersonal relationships. and it's cool because that's like almost fairy tale-ish. Like, you know, that's enough for like when my daughter's watching it, I guess that she's more interested in who's this mysterious girl, princess, alien-y thing, rather than like, will the 300 years of slavery be abolished by the Five Lords being, you know, usurped? Yeah. So like, it was cool that it was hitting on all these different things, and the gameplay was good. The world's nice, and the music's good as well. So like, I just really sank into it, and I was like, I can see myself playing more of this, like proper like. And then I looked at the reviews, and they were very high 80s. I think it's like 87 or something. Yeah. And so I'm like, shit, okay, I think this is going to be a hit. I have a feeling this will be game of the year for some people, like, you know, for the Fire Emblem heads and shit.
Yeah. So Liam, you were saying about the visuals and stuff as well. That it looks very nice.
It does look very nice. Not as good as like it's not quite a AAA feeling game. You know, it doesn't have the sort of polish that, say, Final Fantasy VII Remake does. But it does feel AA, I guess, in how its production. It runs at like flawless 60 FPS as well, which is great because of the action combat. But yeah, it's like, it's a very dense game. It does tend to throw quite a lot of stuff at you at the beginning, especially with, like Jake was mentioning, all the optional little side bits of dialogue. Sometimes it'll stack like 4 or 5 of them in a row, and it's just like you can end up watching about half an hour's worth of dialogue without even moving the character. That's sort of like a staple of the Tales games anyway. They call them skits in the game.
Of which, by the way, for those who are absolutely dying to know, this Liam was saying he doesn't know what number it is. It's the 17th game, in the mainline game in the series, number 17.
Yeah,
wild.
Not counting all the spin-offs. Yeah, it's been good so far. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. It does feel like it's going to be a game I'm going to be playing for a while, though. Probably not. It doesn't feel like as grand as a Dragon Quest. Or like a Persona. It's not a game that seems like it's going to absorb your life, but it still seems like it's going to be like a 40-50 hour adventure to get through. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more of it. It's got me hooked so far. It's just finding the time to play it. But yeah, it's if you are looking for a high quality JRPG on PlayStation or Xbox, because it's actually on Xbox as well, and PC, and last gen as well. It's on everything apart from Switch and mobile, basically. It's a good game. Yeah, I'd recommend it. Or try the demo first, though, to be fair, because, you know, don't...
You wouldn't recommend it to me, though, right? I mean, you did make that clear.
Yeah.
Absolutely no mics allowed on this one.
I don't think you'd like... Try the demo if you want, Mike. Who am I to tell you what to do? But personally, I don't think you'd like it.
Heed Liam's warning. Like,
it is heeded.
There's a lot of anime shouting. Too much anime shouting, in fact.
Yeah, Liam was right. Like, basically, you've got your attack, which is like trigger button or something.
Yeah.
But then you've got the 4 face buttons, do a special attack, and every time you press it, they say it.
Yeah.
Rising Phoenix, spinning swift, and it's literally you can do it like you can pretty much do them in
machine, man.
You can do them in rotation pretty much constantly as well, Liam. Right? Like you can literally press square as soon as that's done, press triangle. So you know,
you'll hear it about 50 times per battle, and you'll have about 50 battles in the first dungeon alone. So 50 times 50. I'll let you do the math.
I'm feeling a bit Duncan Bannatyne about that, boys. For that reason, I'm out.
For that reason,
you do have to have a high anime tolerance threshold. For the Tales games.
High anime tolerance is like really good. I really like that.
Yeah, I reckon you could like name a whiskey that or something.
Or a podcast.
Okay, so that is Tales of Arise, and you've also been playing Deathloop, which I'm significantly more interested in, really. But I do like the studio and stuff. And but I've got to be honest, right? So Deathloop, I mean, they've marketed it for a long time, haven't they? And it doesn't. So I'm just saying what I think as someone who hasn't played it, right? So you guys can sort of correct the record type of thing. But it just hasn't appealed to me, really. I mean, I've kind of sort of thought, okay, all right, a few times when they've shown gameplay off and stuff. But there's just something about it that just has not grabbed me. I don't know. It just seems so sort of premisey somehow to me, like it's just going out of its way to be original almost. I don't know quite what I mean by that, but it's like it just seems like a game that is sort of like they've really tried to pack it with ideas and stuff, but somehow that sort of annoyed me. So I've got, you know, like I've kind of gone, hey, think you're clever, do you? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's how I feel about it, having not played it. So is it any good?
Well, yeah. I mean, Liam, do you want to talk us through the beginning? Because you're kind of like where I don't want to sound like this fucking guy, but you're like where the game really begins. Like you've got to the part where the game's just about to start.
I know what you mean. Yeah. So I've played maybe 3 hours of it, and it only just feels like I've come out of the tutorial section in a way. The game is very, very overwhelming at the beginning.
Can you explain who's made it first and what they've done?
Yes. So it is made by Arkane Studios, more specifically Arkane Lyon, who are the people who made Dishonored, Dishonored 2, and Dishonored Death of the Outsider. And then Arkane Austin, their American branch, they're the people who made Prey. But they all share the same DNA. They are these stealth-heavy, immersive sim type games where first person, open-ended, choose how you want to play, stealth, guns blazing, non-lethal takedowns, murder the entire town. That's like Arkane's MO when it comes to games. And Deathloop is not much different to that, to be honest, except they've taken out the morality part of their last few games. So if you want to be a complete and utter psychopath, you can without anyone giving you shit for it, which I like about Deathloop so far. But yeah, the whole like premise of the game is you play as a guy called Cole who's trapped on an island called Black Reef, and for some reason you're stuck in a Groundhog Day situation where the day keeps repeating itself, and you're trying to break out of the loop while there's a character called Juliana who's trying to protect the loop by killing you repeatedly to stop you from escaping.
A death loop.
A death loop.
As it were, yeah.
And so it starts out, very mysterious. Wake up on a beach, don't know who you are, don't know where you are. You're picking up guns. You think, I've never used a gun before, but then the character's like, oh wait, why am I doing this? Because it turns out he has used the gun before. There's a lot of like text that pops up saying like, remember who you are, or very Edith Finch-y in a way, the way like the text pops up all the time. And then it just throws you into it pretty much. It tells you to go explore, gives you a machete and a machine pistol, tells you can go about stealth if you want, you can go chopping people up if you want. Really, it just like it throws you into it. It says, just go however you want, do whatever you want about it. And then slowly like peppers in the story as well, sets up the whole mysterious island and all the characters. And then after about, where I am anyway, that's where the game seems to me anyway, that it starts to open up quite a bit. Because it feels very guided in those first couple of hours. You are following a lot of map markers and it is pointing you pretty much in a straight line to what you need to do. Except, when you get to the point where the map opens up and it's level based, so it's not like an open world. And then the days are split into 4 sections. So you got, was it like morning,
afternoon, noon, and
evening. And then different things happen in different levels according to those time zones. So you'll have so to break the Deathloop, you have to kill 8...
Become the Deathloop. Oh, right.
Yeah, you do have to become it in a way. But yeah, you have to kill 8 targets all within the same loop. Yeah. And so you've got basically 4 of those time zones. And then you have to sync it up so you kill all 8 in one loop. But then they all appear at different... So like one of them will have a party in the evening, and then, he might invite another of one of the targets to that party, but then the others might lock themselves away in the laboratory to do research, and you can't break into the lab in the evening and stuff like that. So you've got to do a lot of exploration, a lot of discovering things. That they call them leads, basically objectives.
Yeah.
That'll point you in the right way. So it'll say, oh, I hear, this Wenji is actually the name of one of the targets. Like, she likes to do her lab research at, noon in this area of the map. And then if you go to that area of the map at noon, sure enough, there she is in the lab, and you can take her out if you want, or you can like scout her out and see what she does. It's like, follow her. She might lead you to a secret area. She might utter out a code, which then you can go back and use on a door, and it'll let you in. You might find some equipment or resources.
Sounds a bit like The Occupation. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it's like the first-person time-based thing. That was exactly the same. They're going to be in
it's
the
a little bit,
Right.
I will say straight away, because I've seen some confusion online. It's not a roguelike or a roguelite, not at all. It's more like Hitman crossed with Dishonored. To be honest,
like Hitman. And as well a bit of Outer Wilds, because that is a little bit. Yeah, certain things are going to happen at certain times, and you've got to be at the right place at the right time. But you don't even know if you're in the right place until the thing happens. Sometimes in Outer Wilds.
Yeah, Deathloop is very similar in that regard. Like, you can just stumble across something that could be give you massive insight into something, or it could be an opportunity to itself. There is also, however, to throw a spanner in the works, there is an invasion mechanic. So after you do
Dark Souls type thing.
Yep, exactly like Dark Souls, where as soon as you've done the tutorial, it turns the game into online mode, and other players can invade your game as Juliana, who is like the main antagonist.
When you say online mode, I'm instantly like pink camouflage everywhere, isn't it? It's just
no, none like that. It's literally like Dark Souls invasions, where another player can hop into your game, and it'll give you a warning. It'll say like Juliana is on the hunt, and so another player, or if it's not another player, it can just be like an NPC controlling her as well, and they can just turn up and like lure you into traps and kill you. Just straight up try and chase you down and kill you. And if you die in Deathloop, it resets the loop and you lose any equipment you picked up. You keep all the knowledge, though, is the big thing. So if you find a passcode, you keep that passcode forever and all future loops you go through. You only lose equipment unless you do something called infusing, where there's a resource in the game you can go around collecting called Residium, and then if you find a particular weapon that's really high stats that you like, you can spend Residium on it, and it'll keep it for every subsequent loop until you decide you want to, recycle it. And you can do that with weapons, trinkets, which attach to your weapons, and they call them slabs. Don't know why. It's just an ability, but you can infuse them as well. And they really encourage you to infuse certain things, like the slabs, because they're like your Dishonored powers, pretty much.
Right. So, Jake, you've played it further, and you've gone beyond the point where the game kind of opens up a little bit. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, Liam's pretty much cleared it, so he's got good knowledge of the whole thing. But basically, it's exactly it. It's a bit more.
What I want to know, though, is any good?
I don't really like Arkane, do I? Like, I'm big into the old stealth. Grew up on it, and even now I love an opportunity to be stealth archer in it. So Bethesda and stealth archers. So I wasn't really enamored by Prey. I thought it was pretty good, but with Dishonored, I just straight up thought it was pretty overrated. And I played the second one, and I just didn't like it. The first one was okay, but I think it's just my expectations weren't in check, and I just can't get out of my head about it. But I think that really worked in Deathloop's favor, because like you were mentioning at the very beginning, like there was a kind of situation where it was like, to be honest, I thought it kind of felt a bit over marketed, like it was getting shown off at what felt like every single thing, every opportunity for Bethesda to cut it out.
And I think it's one of them games with that seems big on personality. And so like, I mean, that I didn't like the idea of the setting. I don't like that sort of stylization, like whatever you want to call that. It's just not cool to me, basically. And I don't like the chunky Arkane gun bullshit. But so I played Deathloop, not expecting much. I thought, cool, well, I'll play it, and someone else from the podcast will play it, and they'll probably really love it, and I'll be a bit more like, well, But I actually think this is like
the game of the year, isn't it? Basically, like it's going to take a lot to knock it off. It's really good. Like it's annoyingly slick because it's not, when you actually get in there, it's not throwing too many concepts at you. It is fairly straightforward, but it mixes like a bunch of stuff that I love, so I can't not like it. At first I thought, okay, we've got a roguelike on our hands because every time you die you start again, but you keep the knowledge. But then, like Liam says, as the game progresses, like you get this more like permanent thing. So it's not just a knowledge take over, you got your gun. So I got a pretty cool gun set up now. Like all my guns are silenced that I've got. So like my stealth can be on point. But you're roaming around this island and you've got this day, the Groundhog Day element is really cool. You know, there's this cult on the island called the Eternalists, and like, you know, they're doing what you do if it was the last day on Earth. They're drinking and partying and shit like that. So that's kind of like cool. When it doesn't ever say that. It doesn't say, oh, they're drinking and partying or end of the world party or anything like that. It's cool. You're in bed thinking about it at night and going, oh yeah, well of course that's that. And what else I like about it is like, you know, there's loads of these loop games now, and like they are like Outer Wilds is a tough act to follow, I think. But what this does is it takes that real-time aspect away. So, like, you know, we're all talking about this. But like Liam says, the way that it's segmented into, like, separate zones at separate times of day. Let's say you loaded up one instance, like, of a level and it was in the morning. You could leave that for 12 hours and until you leave that area and go back to your bunker, you're going to be in a more, so you can take your time exploring is what I mean. Where Outer Wilds, you were on a bit of a, you know, and the Majora's Mask and all that, you're on a real life deadline. And I played 12 minutes recently when you're on a 12-minute deadline, and it's annoying because the window, 8 minutes into that 12-minute loop, and you've got a 15-second window and you fuck up, you've got to go all the way back and waste 8 minutes. With Deathloop, it's like you can literally rinse out an area at a certain time, and the beautiful thing about it is you're not just chasing map markers, it is making you explore. It puts you into that detective mode. There's not many games that do that. Like, you know, I feel like the old Hitman games were like that, where I wanted to really scope it out, like, but I didn't feel like it was what the game was force feeding me to do. The new Hitman is a little bit more heavy handed with it, I think. It's like, it gives you a side quest and it's like, discover this, and then it'll unlock this new entrance for you. So it's like kind of like incentivizing you to
that is a mode though. Like you can I mean, you know, that is how the game's presented, but you can actually switch all the sort of guidance off and stuff, so you can play through the levels, so they are a bit more open. But yeah, no, I know the Hitman games are a lot more like prescriptive, maybe, aren't they? Like, where, you know, this is going to happen at a certain time, you probably have a look at that, mate. You know what I mean? They're really telling you what to do. And
whereas for this one, like, you might stumble upon something and you don't really understand the relevance of it till but what's cool is it's kind of like, it's not overcomplicated, but it has a good meta level, and because you as a human being, as the player, your knowledge is valuable for each run. And in game, you got that, so you don't have to be writing stuff down. Like, you know, like there's a keypad, and if you've learned it once, it'll literally show up. Like there's like little like guiding text that will say it is da. So it's good because it doesn't bog you down with like having to remember stuff. Like you're not actually sat in the menus as much as you think. Going, okay, so you know, you can go and investigate, and then it's kind of like you know, I think I've seen it described online as like the reverse Cluedo, in it. Like you are trying to solve how to murder, and that's the beautiful thing. You're trying to like get all your ducks in a row and get them boom, 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 and it's cool because there's lots of variation to it. So yeah, like Liam was saying about this party, I got somebody to attend the party by fucking up their experiment in the afternoon, so they had nothing to do in the evening, so they went to this party and then there's two. But it's cool. I was playing it when it wasn't really available publicly, so I didn't have much time with the online aspect of it. It is optional, by the way. The invasions are optional, like, because that's one thing that, like, with Dark Souls and shit, some people might want to turn it off. Like, not me, but they're fucking well hard, aren't I? But do you know what I mean? Some people might not want that, like you were saying, like when you heard online mode, like, you know, and I know that some people might just want to be left alone to solve this mystery. They're really immersed in it, and then they've got fucking Dick Smasher 420 coming in and trying to shoot your head off. Like, you know, the only thing to it that I'm not huge on is like I don't really like. I'm so integrated like into the stealth mentality, yeah, I don't really worry too much about the abilities. Like, so you're killing these 8 like super duper people, they're called the visionaries, because they've got abilities, they've got the slabs or whatever, and so you kill one, and I've got one that's like basically like Hulk rage or whatever. I don't really use that, like, so I'm not really like, it's the same with BioShock. I was the same. I wasn't really using my little powers. Like,
do you know what's interesting about Dishonored is that's just the Arkane have got this thing where they're giving you like amazing powers, but then they kind of don't want you to use them. I can't remember which Dishonored specifically is. They tend towards that a bit more. Maybe it's Dishonored 1 actually.
Dishonored 2, I remember. Yeah, a lot of the powers in Dishonored 2 were like focused around killing people basically, and so if you didn't want to kill people in Dishonored, you kind of limited in what you could do.
And Dishonored 1 is essentially the same thing, where the morality system is trying to keep you from using the cool powers that they give you.
Yeah.
So they want you to be stealthy, but also here's loads of temptations for you to, fun, basically. And that, why else are you fucking playing a game? It's fun. Like,
this is like, I think in Dishonored, I think in Dishonored 2 as well, like one of the early ones that you get is like the teleport ability. Like that is in this game wholesale. And I'll tell you another one that's like pretty unique to Dishonored, which is also in this wholesale. The ability to link to enemies, so then if you shoot one, the other one dies as well. Do you know what I mean?
That's on, yeah.
That's like they are identical to like Dishonored. That is Dishonored 2.
Because like it's 2, yeah, it is 2.
Yeah. It's definitely 2 actually, because like I remember playing it on PlayStation 4 and I've only got that one on there. But it's slick because it's one of them though, right? Where it's one of those games where it's so good, and even if you don't expect it to be good, it's going to blow your mind. Like, but now the reviews are out, and it's like even people who are like cynical about it, like me, are talking about it. People are going to go in with these unrealistic expectations. So I think we're going to see 2 camps of people. Some saying it's really overrated. It's like Breaking Bad. Like at this point, it's so overhyped. It has to be the best show ever just to even manage, like, to match up to your expectations. And I feel like Deathloop's getting 10s all over the shop. Like, I knew it was going to be like 10s for sure. When you play it, you get it. And like, I'm knowing how miserable I am with these. Like, so yeah, it's really, really good. It's definitely one. If you're a fan of Arkane, it's a must in it. And if you're a fan of like interesting single player games, I don't think this year's done anything near it. And can I just say one other thing? I'm a big roguelike fan and all this, and this whole about like keeping the knowledge and stuff. Like Returnal came out this year, yeah. And Returnal does not like, not that I'm trying to like be competitive with it, not, but obviously like Returnal just does not light a candle to this at all. This game, like I felt really, really like disappointed by Returnal, but I got good things to say about Deathloop. I think it was fucking great, and yeah, man, it's just shit hot. Yeah.
Well, I'll buy it then, because I love Dishonored 1 and 2, and I really have tried to love Prey over and over again, but it just does not want to love me back. So
see, I'm the opposite. I love Dishonored 1, did not like Dishonored 2, haven't really played Death of the Outsider. I absolutely love Prey.
You're right. I didn't love Dishonored 2 either. You're right. I loved Dishonored 1. I went crazy about Dishonored. And then Dishonored 2, I just didn't.
That's what I remember. You loving Dishonored 1, hunching over your computer playing it.
That's correct. That's it.
I quite like Deathloop so far. Look forward to playing more of it. My only complaint about it is, and it could just be because I'm a miserable bastard. The sort of like irreverent tone that every single game goes for these days. Not really doing it for me. Like the 2 main characters constantly like being snarky and quippy at each other, and
just shagger it, ain't it?
It seems. Do you know what I mean? It seems like a 3-year-old mentality, and obviously games are designed fucking well in advance, aren't they? So I think that I reckon it'll tail off. That I reckon it probably will start in the next sort of year or so. There'll be a.
It's funny though, because you know what? I've seen nothing but praise for the dialogue, right? But I'm right there with Liam, like.
That's also one of the things that's so off-putting from the outside, in the market and shit.
It's the banter between the main characters is like, it's just banter between main characters, but it's so like tropey. Like Liam is dead right, but like I've seen people online talk about how cool and refreshing it is, and I'm thinking, what? Like, I don't know. But it's a bit like that Netflix show Russian Doll in it, yeah. Did you watch that? It was like that. Basically, that's what Deathloop's like. If you haven't seen that on Netflix, if you have, you know exactly what I'm on about. But it's a time loop thing where there's two people who are aware of the loop the whole time. But yeah, there's this like. But by the way, can I just say little thing? By the way, probably my favorite dual sense of the year. Yeah, I don't know why the guns feel good. Arkane have done a good job with the guns
Should be
on
a
there.
sticker, that Dual Sense of the Year, just the PlayStation
Dual Sense of the Year award
on the box. Dual Sense of the Year, man.
Well,
that's it.
Wait until we get that Last of Us 2 patch. We can feel the life slipping out of your enemies.
Death to dogs. Yeah.
I cannot. To the point where I think I want to invite you over so we can play that together. Like, I think I just want to be in a room.
We can all put our hands on the controller together and kill the dog.
I want to strangle a fucking Naughty Dog with you two in the room, right? That's just.
That's very romantic, man. What I'll say, what I will say,
like a psychopath's kind of romantic, in it.
It sounds like a Misfit song.
Exactly. Let's strangle a cat. Let me tell you this though. Yeah, it might come up in conversation. I can't remember if it's next week or the week after, but I want to see what this bad boy Kojima is going to do with the dual sense with Death Stranding. I reckon he's going to do some tricky little thing.
That's good. Well, that game has got, aren't you like trying to balance the shit on your back? And
if he can make it well, it does that. Yeah, shouts out Hideo.
They must have done something, right? Surely they would.
They've got it.
We'll see. We'll
play with that. So that's Deathloop and Tales of Arise. Well, should we just have a quick chat about the PlayStation Showcase thing?
Go on then, yeah.
Is there anything? Sure. So we did a quick mention at the beginning because they announced Knights of the Old Republic remake, which is an absolute no-brainer. Obviously, I'm going to get this straight away, but I'm not like massively excited about it because I just sort of like. It feels like I've known about it for ages. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like new, exciting information.
Yeah, it's been one of them that you see all the industry insiders on Twitter have been mentioning it for like the last 5 years.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. And you can't. But even if they weren't, you'd just be like, well, yeah, of course they're going to do that. Like, why the fuck would you not do that? Do you not want money? Like, so what else caught your eye in it? There was quite a few things.
Honestly, that Gran Turismo 7 trailer, I actually saw it again this morning. I don't know why, but something about the really flash cars set to the classical opera music.
I agree.
Don't know why. Did something for me.
I strongly agree, Liam.
I couldn't agree less. I thought it was you two that I was talking to about, but it was Kale. I thought fucking Count Dracula was going to be behind the fucking wheel, man.
I did put that in the WhatsApp. I said I thought Alucard was going to throw him out in a Lambo.
The organs, and it was like, and I was like, okay.
I thought that was great. It was a good idea.
Yeah, cool. Well, it certainly stood out. Do you know what took the edge off? No one gives a fuck, but I'll just tell you. I was only half watching it because a friend of mine was leaving my house but had left their car lights on. So we were jump starting their car and I was coming back and I was peeking back into the house to watch what was each trailer. And I saw that I heard some organs and stood. And as soon as I saw it was to do with cars, it reminded me I needed to go outside. So, maybe I missed it. Maybe something took the edge off. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But nothing caught my eye, really. I wasn't impressed with, like, I don't give a shit about these Marvel games, basically. And I know, not in a horrible way, but I just...
The show was very CG teaser heavy with a lot of in production now sort of thing, tags at the end of every trailer. Although I can't say... Insomniac Wolverine, though, is genius.
It's probably going to be good, isn't it? But I'm kind of...
Are you at this point, Mike, where you're like, okay, cool, well... I'll see what it's like 4 days before launch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know that the combat's going to be ace. There's going to be rolling around on the floor with men in bars.
Yeah, if they can do for that what they've done for Spider-Man, then it's going to be great.
That's the thing. Like, I was excited for it when I saw it, but as soon as they showed the Marvel logo, they showed a guy in a checkered shirt with a cowboy hat, and I was like, oh, it's Wolverine.
Yeah,
like it didn't come as a total surprise. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what we do with it, because apparently they said it's going to be a standalone a game with mature story. I know that's like not
nothing
good,
turns me off
word.
more.
No. Honestly, all you need to do is make a game version of the Logan movie, and that'll be enough.
To be fair, though, right, Jake, right, that nothing turns me off more than a mature game, okay? And I agree completely. The problem is, we also don't like immature. We don't like fucking personality in games either. We don't like the fucking quippy, witty, the Deathloop vibe. So we're making
what's
it
left?
hard for
Politics. That's why I love politics in games.
We're making it difficult for him, mate.
I absolutely love No More Heroes 3, and that is one of the most juvenile, puerile games of recent memory, and I thought it was fantastic.
No, I know what you mean. They're between a rock and a hard place of us. Tough crowd, aren't we? But
Alan Wake, I thought was all right. As in the idea, I still haven't. I started playing Alan Wake this year. I think it was earlier this year.
Yeah, did they have the Game Pass or something?
It was on Game Pass for a bit. I don't think it is anymore. They have to take it off because there was like some license issues with it. Because there's quite a bit of licensed music in the game and Energizer batteries.
Oh yeah, and I guess they've taken them out, right?
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, it was probably after I played Control, which I absolutely became obsessed with, and I think it was brilliant. So I played a bit of Alan Wake and really, really enjoyed it, but I just didn't, for one reason, I just didn't stick around.
Yeah, I played it recently as well. I think I played it for Halloween last year.
It holds up. I thought it was good. I mean, it's a bit like muddy and blurry and stuff, so obviously a remaster's going to do a lovely job with that if it's in 4K and all that shit. So
I mean, the thing at the end, I guess, is the big one, isn't it? Which is cool. It was cool to see, but nothing exciting. There was no release date or anything. And that game was God of War Ragnarok, right? Which was the direct sequel to 2018's God of War, PlayStation exclusive, Santa Monica Studio, which is the game where Greek God of War Kratos, which I don't think is canonical, but whatever, goes to Norway to be a dad and batter fuck out of all the gods. And he has some unfinished business to tie up when the game ends the way it does. I don't want to say it, but you find something out about Kratos' son, and the game fully goes in with that. You got this annoying teen twerp. Starting to look a bit like you, actually, Mike. The kid,
I thought that initially. I would think he's going further away from it. I reckon they've improved his hairline. So I've got a terrible hairline. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's just time. That's just time withering you away like the old rock you are.
But what's happening? What's happening to young Atreus is his hair's getting better. I reckon he had worse hair as a younger kid. And I thought that I looked like a Atreus.
If you've only got Kratos giving you haircuts, it's not going to be great.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we know what boldness he's got. So, the game showed off a lot. I feel like it showed off a lot. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It felt like a bit of a highlight reel rather than a trailer. I felt like I saw about 5 boss fights. And in the original, not the original, but in this iteration of God of War, 2018, I feel like there was only maybe 5-6 boss fights in the whole game.
Yeah.
But in this one, you clearly see a centaur and you see this and this and this. And so I don't want to say anymore in case people don't want to watch it. I think, got to be careful of that. But, it looked like I felt like it was a whistle-stop tour of the whole game. Like I felt like I got to see all the locations. I'm sure they're keeping a lot of things held back. Now, remember that, they did that with the first game. They showed off quite a bit, but they kept one secret back, which was a big gameplay element.
Secret, I guess.
Yeah, which was I'll always remember that as one of my favorite moments.
I think God of War is if I look back at all the PS4 exclusives, I probably
top 5,
second to Bloodborne. No, I think it's actually one of my favorite games of the generation. I think I really
top
love
3.
It.
Yeah,
possibly. Yeah,
it was really good.
Yeah, and I think I just like being directed. I like that it just was like, this is what we're looking at. You know what I mean? And it had like,
exactly.
In an age of endless open worlds.
You can have a little row around a lake if you want, but you're not having to.
Old fashioned, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was. It was really, really good. I remember being visibly like. You know, when I saw that like turtle thing pop out the ground, I was pissing off my wife every 2 seconds. He's just trying to enjoy a bit of Facebook, and I'm going, Sean, look at this, man. Yeah, she gave birth like 3 days prior, and I'm like, Sean, doesn't matter. Look at this, man. Fuck you. Look at this turtle.
But it just had balls of that, didn't it? And it had like mad ideas, good ideas, and a good. It just, you know, sometimes things. It's the same in movies and everything. Sometimes just things get enough time. And they have enough people at the right stage of their life working on it, and they just come out with some fucking brilliant ideas, and it all comes together beautifully. The music and everything, the soundtrack. I just love the whole.
Yeah, and can I say?
I don't know.
Well, this is what I mean. One thing I've got a note, and I'm not trying to be a fanboy or anything like that, but I feel like that. In fact, I'm not being a fanboy because it's almost a detriment to the game. I feel like they are setting you up for the sequel all the way through it. Like there's timey loopy bullshit, and you hear noises that you know what they are when you figure it out, and it ends on a big. There's literally a post credit scene.
Yeah.
With a garden very marvelly, and I feel like they've constantly had one eye on what's next, and this seems like just straight back to business. The graphics don't look like incredibly different, to be honest, and I feel like it's one of them where it's just a perfect continuation. So with that, that gives me great hope for what it's got coming up. So
I think that you're dead right, I reckon, and the that feeling of it being like a very marvelly type thing, that's probably the first time I've been excited about a fucking post-credit scene since the first time I saw a post-credit scene. Do you know what I mean? They kind of found their own way of doing it again somehow, in a way that wasn't just like, and obviously we're going to, it seems like obligatory now, doesn't it, in Marvel films and stuff, but it just, in this, somehow it just, I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, anything else in the show you want to talk about before we do the new games?
Got to mention Spider-Man 2. Everyone knew it was coming. Speaking of post-credit scenes, everyone knew it was coming. Spider-Man 2, Venom, this is the villain. 2023 is all they said about it. Don't really know a lot about it. They didn't say much about it. Apart from apparently that trailer was captured all in-engine, so it wasn't pre-rendered or anything. Apparently, it was all so that might be what the game actually looks like on PS5. Who knows? They make
pretty games. I've got to say, Insomniac, need to get let out of the basement because they are carrying the PS5.
They feel the games feel so good to play as well, and that takes fucking time, precision. You can't just pull it out of your ass. You have to just play it and test it, see how people respond to stuff.
Exactly.
How you make Spider-Man swing and feel good.
Exactly. For the uninitiated, of course, as well as the Spider-Man games, Insomniac also did the thingy, didn't they? Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
In June, which was
feels great to play.
Exactly. So between Miles Morales and then the last Spider-Man game and Ratchet and Clank, and now they're doing another Spider-Man game, I feel like they just need to take a holiday, collectively. But yeah, man, I don't know. The KOTOR thing at the beginning, that was my best thing. Because look, I just want to see more people talking about HK-47 and that on the internet. It's going to be good. When it happens, it's going to be good. It's like the Mass Effect thing where it was at first I was cool, but then as it got closer, I was comfortably excited because I know it's going to be good. And it's the same with Dead Space Remake, and it's the same with this. I know it's going to bang. So
yeah.
I'm here for the remakes, definitely. Okay, then. So let's do the new games for this week.
Oh shit! Yeah, what we got?
So there's a few to bang through. We've already talked about Deathloop. Deathloop is out on Tuesday the 14th, so it's already out. Deathloop's out on PC and PS5 at the moment. That's Arkane Studios developed, as we've talked about, published by Bethesda.
Weird day to release a game. Tuesday.
Yeah, it does kind of.
It's always a Tuesday and a Friday, isn't it? Normally, yeah.
On the 16th, which is not always Tuesday and Friday. On the 16th of which is Thursday, the 16th of August. If only.
Yeah.
Of September is. Oh God. I'm going to read this out, and then Liam's going to tell me what it is. And
I feel stereotyped now, but go on.
No, well, you'll see what I mean. I fell into this trap before.
Okay.
I'm not saying you enjoy it, but maybe you have an awareness that.
Okay.
It's called Bang Dream Girls Band Party which is out on Nintendo Switch.
Why?
Which is published by Bushy Road.
I think it's a rhythm game. I don't know.
What's it called again?
He's right. It's a rhythm game. Bang Dream Girls Band Party.
Bang Girls. Okay.
It's called Bang Dream. So
Bang Dream.
Yeah. Well, that's that. Eastward, which looks good, is out on PC.
Eastward
does. I might get this.
Sorry, that was PC, Mac, and Nintendo Switch. It's a role-playing game published by Chucklefish. Had pretty good reviews from.
Yeah, they've actually done all right with this, haven't they? I played it ages ago. It's been on like the convention circuit for years. Like, I'm pretty sure since 2018. Like, this has been at EGXs and PAXs and stuff.
Well, it sort of wasn't it announced at the end of the Switch thing. You know, the last Nintendo Switch event, which you know, I thought it would be the. Jake, you said this as well. You thought it would be the Harry Potter
Witchbrook
one,
Harry Potter Valley.
Harry Potter. Oh my God! Come on, Chucklefish! Fucking hurry up with that one.
But it was Eastward, and I forgot. I kind of forgot about it, and then I was like game and stuff, and I was like, oh great, yeah. And then I had a look, and very much not a Zelda-like setting, even if it is a Zelda-like.
No.
Yeah, it's post-apocalyptic, isn't it?
Yeah, and like a weird post-apocalypse as well.
Yeah.
So it looks good. So then there's something called Metallic Child, which is also out on the 16th on PC and Nintendo Switch. No, do you know what that is?
No. Sounds like a band I would not listen to.
Developed by a studio called Studio HG. So I don't know what that is.
Oh.
Skatebird is out on PC, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One.
I have seen this. You play as a bird that skates.
Yep. The plot's in the title for it, isn't it? Yeah.
And then what else we got? We've got on the 17th now, so this is Friday.
Yeah.
Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom Prince's Edition is out on Nintendo Switch. What's this? Prince's Edition?
It's like all the full fat DLC, is it not?
Yeah, just like definitive edition on the Switch.
Because the game is already on there, isn't it? So this is just
the first one is. This one is like
one on there.
No, well, it will be on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that, and Aragami 2 is out on.
Yeah, I played the first Aragami.
I think this is it's a stealthy thing, isn't it, Liam?
Yeah, stealthy again, very Dishonored-y with teleporting powers. But with the stylistic leanings of say a Tenchu, but not as good as Tenchu. Nothing
100% not. No, exactly. Thank you, Liam. But I think this is Game Pass. I think day one as well.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so that's on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X. So that's that. That's the releases. Anything else you want to add to that, lad?
Yeah, Toem is out. Toem's out on the 17th as well. Yeah.
I want to play that.
I saw that. I forgot about that game.
Toem's all right, man. Yeah, I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it, but it's very good. And it's it's a cool photography game that's got a nice color scheme and it's like black and white sepia kind of thing. It's really fucking cool. It's chilled. It's an indie game about taking photos and going on a little adventure, quirky. But it's not like Undertale, like drowns you in quirkiness type vibe. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, there's like different kind of shades of that indie quirkiness, and I think this is sort of more like a relaxed. It falls more in that sort of relaxed friendliness rather than just being straight up like, haha, isn't this weird? Well, it's a bit weird, but it's also just nice and chilled out.
Yeah, exactly, man. So yeah, shout out to Toem.
Looking forward to that. I'll get that.
Cool.
Right, thanks everyone for listening and for watching the Special Moves podcast. That was episode 139, episode 140 coming very soon. We've got a Patreon bonus podcast almost every week when we record these podcasts. So if you are a Patreon supporter, make sure you're making the most of that because there's an extra sort of 30 minutes of off-topic stuff.
Yeah.
Every week. Why wouldn't you want that? Right, thanks. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.